Now, I know it's been a while, and I know you guys totally have been wondering where I've been. Because of the major success of this channel, I have been working on a house I'm getting. Pretty cool, right? I mean, it's going good. Going real good. But, so, I mean, if you want to be the kind of guy to help support me a little bit, go ahead now, subscribe, maybe do something, I don't know. It'd be kind of cool. I don't play walking sims. You guys know what these are. Games where the majority of the game is, walking. There might be some puzzles or some platforming or something to break it up a little bit, but you just walk. And to make up for this, walking sims typically will try to have some sort of emotional or subtle story to tell with interesting environments. Now, I love a game with interesting environments. Without fun gameplay, I'm not really interested. Some people will argue that they aren't even games, and while I wouldn't go that far, they still just aren't something I'm interested in. However, when I saw the Unfinished Swan, well, let's just say, I still wasn't interested. So you might be wondering, why are you making a video on a game you aren't interested in? Well, my good viewer, the person I saw talking about it on Twitter said they couldn't finish it because the first 20 minutes hurt his eyes so much that he got a migraine and was physically unable to play. That's the only reason. Pain's awesome. But I looked into the game a little more and I had some interesting environments. And I saw it was on sale for like $2 a few months ago, so I figured, why not? It's only a couple hours long. I might as well play it and make a quick video about it and see if I also burn my eyes out. Coming out in 2012 for Vita and PS3, the Unfinished Swan was made by Giant Sparrow, the team who made What Remains of Edith Finch. I don't know what that is, but this game has us in the role of Monroe, an orphan whose mother died of an illness, sending him to an orphanage. The game's story is told from a storybook perspective and is narrated by this neutral-toned woman who sounds like she's reading us a children's story.
The orphanage allowed him to keep only one painting, and so he chose the Unfinished Swan that had always been his mother's favorite.
His mother was a painter who never finished any of her paintings, and when she died, she left him with her silver brush. The orphanage only allowed him to take one painting, and he took his mother's favorite one, the swan. One night while sleeping, Monroe wakes up to see that the swan is missing. Not the painting, just the swan in the painting is gone. And that there's a new door that wasn't there before. Going through it, we end up in a white void.
I gotta get out of here! Where's the time machine? Where is anything? Where?
Oh, that sure is, white. I'm not even sure if my game is bugged out or not. It did crash for me when moving the aspect ratio slider too much, so, I don't know. Pressing every button until I pull a trigger, and then a ball of ink shoots out and splatters on the ground. And that's how they intend for you to navigate. Just shoot some ink to create some contrast. This is actually a fully modeled environment, believe it or not. It's not just basic shapes. There are trees, fences, unique rocks. They put a lot of time into detailing this place you wouldn't even be able to see well. Once we make our way along, we find some golden footprints left by the swan. There we see a frog, and upon coming close, it jumps away and gets eaten by whatever the fuck that was. Following the footprints across this body of water, we get to a fortress wall. Going through it, we can see a golden crown floating. We also hear some music too, which is refreshing. Shooting it with some ink shows it's a statue of a king. Making our way past this, we climb up some stairs and see the University of Tennessee.
Alright, man, just say what you've been saying, man. Why do you hate Tennessee?
Man, I hate Tennessee because, first of all, it's Tennessee. And I just hate them because they low down, they dirty, they some snitches. And...
Wait, what? No, that's not it. It was a story about the king and his garden. It's told by the narrator from the opening, and we can find these throughout the game. It tells us the story of the king, who thought no color was good enough for him, so he kept it pure white until he could make better colors. So fucking racist. What the hell? Sadly for him, he actually started to get citizens he could, rule in his kingdom, which had bigger issues than the color of his garden. Breaking through these boxes, and we finally see some color in the distance. A hot air balloon. Tragically, we also see a hole in the floor with some golden footprints. Falling down, and we finally see the Unfinished Swan. The end. No, but seriously, what the fuck is that? What the fuck? Seriously, what the fuck? That thing is huge. Did I mention that while playing this game, there was a constant state of just unease? Somehow being in a white void of nothing is less scary to me than what looks like a white void of nothing, but is actually just a fully, realized world. It's just, it's just creepy. I don't think that's the intention, though. Dread aside, we chase the swan and enter Part 2, the Watchtower. Following the footprints this time shows us this swan cheated and walked up the wall to get where we can't even reach him. 1, you can fly. Why would you do that? Are you taunting me? 2, these footprints are way too small to be that giant wall-climbing birds. So I walk around and shoot some ink, and then I go through this door and my ink just vanishes. I played around with that for a really long time. Way too long. That's when I realized this room is the same as the first one. Ink splatters and all, so being the 180 IQ genius I am, I realized that this room loops. That's when I noticed the hole in the middle. So it's just as easy as falling from the top. And I must say, this kid's ankles are shot. Found some more Tennessee lore. The king's subjects were sick of white. They wanted seasoning so they could see and not constantly trip or, die. So they started to paint things, which the king didn't like. So he made non-magical brushes illegal and spent a month painting shadows so people could actually see. Why'd they even settle here if they couldn't even see? What's wrong with them? Fucking Tennessee, man.
And I hate all their quarterbacks. I hate Tennessee, man.
So anyway, now they're shading. This is actually a really awesome idea. Letting the player see the game is surprisingly innovative, and I'm surprised that hasn't been done sooner. Oh, it's also cool from a narrative and world building sense as well, I guess. We can actually see water now too in this aquarium, and the horrible ancient eldritch horror that sleeps in the deep. How cool.
Whoa.
I really want to tightrope walk on that narrow, treacherous wall where I can't see where it blends in with the environment. And one slip means I fall into the waters that creature lurks in. Did I mention I don't know how to swim? Oh, hey, a balloon. You can find a certain amount of these hidden in the game, and they act as a currency of sorts to buy what are called toys. They just do some fun little things like letting you stop time for ink so you can launch a ton of them at once, or rapid fire ink, or go deaf. Just fun little things like that. Just a little bit of fun, I gotta say though, this shading really does highlight how much this game hurts to look at. I got a headache pretty quickly just looking at it for too long. Luckily, my monitor has an eye saver setting that dulls this sort of thing out, so I just turned that on and it helped. I wouldn't play this game with the lights out though, unless you want to become really good at the piano. Part 3, the first castle. After risking our life for a balloon, we enter the king's workshop. This is the first actually visible area we've been to, and I really like how it looks. There's all of this art drawn by the king, and plans and pottery, and an escape route and a hippo. Climbing up the ladder, we find a scale replica of the garden so we can get an idea of what it actually looked like. I never would have guessed that there were actual buildings and windows there, but if you shoot around back in the actual garden, then you can see some of these things too. There's a tiny little balloon too. Aww. The workshop is full of all this intricate handcrafted stuff by the king. He really did work hard on this. We come out to see the castle surrounded by a huge maze. I cannot stress this enough. I love this shot. I'm not sure what it is, but the simple contrasting colors with the minimal shading really scratches an itch for me. I'm not sure why, but I usually prefer seeing the black and white line art someone did rather than the full rendered and colored version sometimes. I think it's just because you can see more detail that way, so it's less visually noisy. I'm not really sure. Are you still listening to this? Probably shouldn't be. Why is he just standing there, menacingly? Where is his neck? Is that what is unfinished? Why'd she leave out like half the neck in the middle? That's more work than just drawing the neck! I spent way too long in this maze trying not to miss anything. It's a simple maze and there was a map on the wall in the workshop too, but I just thought there might be something cool for someone looking for it. There wasn't. Another storybook page on the wall. I don't want to read this to you. I'm gonna let the lady do it.
The labyrinth was designed to be beautiful, and it was. It
Okay,
was not
yeah.
designed to be practical, and it wasn't.
Oh, so
Whole
it was
families
easy to
got
get
lost
through.
For weeks at a time. Mail
What
took
the
months
fuck?
to arrive, and many
Okay,
worried the
not as
labyrinth
bad
with
as the family
signs was
starving.
bound to
Attract
dragons.
Attract what? Why
Eventually,
would
the
it do
commotion was
that?
so loud, even the king couldn't ignore them.
Yeah, it sure doesn't seem like he could ignore the entire family starving or the dragons taking up residence in his fucking art exhibit. What is wrong with these people? Like, the king didn't make this after the fact. He was already making this stuff. These citizens came in from somewhere else and went, yo, we're gonna move into the void with you, and the maze, and the dragons, and the cosmic horror in the water. And then they complained about the void, and the maze, and the dragons, and the cosmic horror in the water. Bitch, you chose to move into the void, and the maze, and the dragons, and the eldritch horror in the water! This is why I fucking hate Tennessee.
I hate Tennessee more than I hate Auburn. I just dislike Auburn. I hate Tennessee. See, Tennessee's colors is that throw-up orange. It's not that orange that you can sit with. It's that puke inside of a pumpkin orange. And I don't like pumpkins. So,
moving on. This isn't even the maze proper. This is like a pre-game for the actual maze. I'm at the door to the full maze. Wish me luck. This will take me a while.
3 weeks later.
Okay, so that was easy. Finally, though, at the top of the castle, we get another great view of this monochromatic hellscape. More lore. The king really said, y'all dirty, and then drew a boat and just fucking left. He even said he'd come back like a dad going out for a pack of smokes. That's so awesome. A true inspiration. Before going on the hot air balloon, I should show you the telescope. Ooh, wow, now I can see a distant object much closer. Ooh, how cool. What else did you expect? Wait, is that a balloon? Is that an all-white balloon that you couldn't see unless you somehow shot ink all over the statue and then saw it from the specific angle that would show the all-white balloon contrasting with the black ink background? And it took me weeks to get through the maze? Now I gotta go back to get it? Worth. Now to go back. I'm gonna get on the hot air balloon, end the chapter, and let the story lady talk to you now. I am tired.
For the first time in weeks, Monroe felt good. He felt even better when the wind pushed him close enough to reach the swan. He was feeling so good, in fact, that he forgot all about his fear of heights. But when the swan wriggled free and Monroe fell over the side, he remembered almost immediately. That might have been the end of Monroe if this were a shorter story, but it isn't, which is why Monroe's troubles were just beginning. Monroe scrambled out of the water and found himself in a massive city with no sign of the swan or anyone else. Well, except someone's enormous pair of feet. These were attached to a giant who could have been a big help in catching the swan, but unfortunately, here was the laziest giant who had ever lived, and it was his day off. Having celebrated in his usual way, he was now sleeping it off and quite unable to hear Monroe yelling. While he was looking for a way to wake the giant, Monroe noticed something even better: a floating ship.
Yeah, congratulations. Or, sorry that happened. Sorry, I got distracted by feet, so I blacked out for a few seconds. So I guess this is the second city the king made, and I don't know if you can tell, but there might be more color going on here. I love the progression in the environments where the further along you get, the more color and detail get added. This sort of feels like we're going through the king improving in his art in a way. I also like the giant cup with the toothbrush and the giant toast. For the giant. Oh man, he sure is a big boy. I tried to wake him up with some ink, but I just spit at him, so it didn't work. Great, they rolled up the bridge. Now we can't get anywhere. So I shot that paddle with the water and it rolled out the bridge. So that's an actual mechanic. I think that's the first problem solving or puzzle in the whole game. Finally, gameplay. Going to this gate, I really like how because there's normally water in the canal and the king painted this city, everything below the water line is just a pure white void. Because why would he paint where people shouldn't see? After making water float on water? What the fuck does that mean? I put it, after making water float on water, I follow those footprints and hop in the canal. I can't get across yet, so I enter the void sewer, spitting everywhere to see until I come across a B. For Benicia, I presume. Oh, it's more story. So the king was a potter before painting. That's cool. Oh, so the subjects complained that they had nowhere to use the bathroom, and the king does what he does and ignores them. So they shit in his pots. There sure are a lot of pots around here, man. That explains why the canal is a white void then. He rushed to make a sewer so they would stop shitting in his pots. Benicia is awesome. Going up this ladder and up the stairs, there's an S, which stands for Scenic. This one talks about the giant being lazy. Wait a second. Have I seen him somewhere before? While you were distracted, I flooded the sewers. I got a balloon and I decided to buy the Time Stop toy. Amazing. Oh nice, a pitch black cave, my favorite. Oh neat, a bunch of red glowing eyes, my favorite. Oh hey, part 2, scaffolding, my favorite. I shoot down this ladder to climb up. That's right, we have ladders now. And then I shoot my load a lot more. What the fuck? After making a leap of faith and failing it, I try again and make it to the top of the scaffold. Don't worry guys, we found the city's bathroom. There's that creepy ass swan again and a lot of balloons, jeez. I actually got so used to not having to solve puzzles, I actually forgot how to do critical thinking and got stuck on this crane for a few minutes. What you're supposed to do is turn it to face the water tower, then travel around the rooftops and climb onto the crane and turn it. So this is what that looks like in game. Who did that? I got mildly inconvenienced, so I of course turned the game off. Oh, I also had an actual headache from how bright white the game was earlier too. That's another reason. I forgot to stop recording, so I have this 14 minutes of game, and then 5 hours and 16 minutes of a black screen with nothing else. Very cool. The next day I launch the game and actually get across. Hey, I really like how this area looks with the pitch black thorns everywhere and the shit and piss pots. Looking through the telescope and there's the airship and that creep swan being eepy. An A!
As the city filled up with people, the streets filled up with garbage. In a fury, the king painted over the roads with a canal, which swept away the trash, along with some of the slower children. But the water brought something else. A horde of vines which began covering the city.
Wow, the king is a psycho. Man, the atmosphere in this game is still so creepy. You never know if something's gonna be there or not. Like, I don't want to go in there. It's pitch black and I'm scared of the dark. Oh, come on. I just got used to there not being anything. Going through the spider cave, constantly spitting everywhere just in case. We get out, turn the paddle, open the floodgates, and now vines are growing out of the thorn bush. Oh, okay, cool. So when I throw water on the thorns, they magically reject it. When it comes streaming in from God knows where, it accepts it and starts part 3, new growth? That's fucked up. So those vines we heard about have shown up and they actually appreciate my water and go after it. Now I thought you had to shoot the little bulbs of the water to make it grow, but no. They just go where you shoot the water. So don't do what I did and spend forever watering your garden. So the way this benefits you is you can make them grow up a wall and then climb up them. This is a really cool mechanic because it lets you progress through the game. Guys, it's back! The horrible ancient eldritch horror that sleeps in the deep is back! Yay! Man, I gotta admit, looking back and seeing the paths you made with the vines contrasting with the flat white of the world is actually really cool. It's sort of like a little replay. Guys, I made a whale. Guys, I made a bridge. Guys, I made a rope swing into part 4 of the palace. Okay, so this is a huge departure from the rest of the game. There's a tree now. Climbing up the tree, we can see they even stored their shit pots on their roofs. Oh, also there's a hedge maze with a cool statue with maybe the single most egocentric thing I have ever seen under it. And his subjects decided to spite him and water the vines just to piss him off. Isn't this what happened at SpaceX? The inside of the palace is the same as the first part of the game, where it's a white void with no shading, only now we have the vines. So using those as a sort of trail helps to navigate through this place. And for some reason, this painting of the king fills in when it gets wet. Climbing up the chimney like some sort of dark, twisted, fucked up version of Santa Claus. We make it to part 5, the seawall. Okay, so here we're at, believe it or not, the sea. You can look through this telescope to see an island in the distance, and there's a statue of the king. Just don't zoom in too close, though.
Welcome to the Kamisato slumber party.
Ugh. So we do some parkour, fail, then get eaten by sharks. Then we do some more parkour. Use the vines to monkey bar across some bridges and annoy the local wildlife. Then we find more Tennessee, man. I hate Tennessee.
I really don't like Tennessee, man.
So the king could stop the vines, and instead of not being a dickhead to his subjects or just letting them grow, he made a Powerpuff Girls serum out of spite and snot to create an eldritch abomination to stop the vines? How would that even work? This king guy isn't very smart, I think. He is from Tennessee, so I get it. Start climbing on the ladder on the water tower, and when the ladder ends, just keep climbing the pipe that you couldn't climb in other areas of the game. Surely they could have telegraphed this a little better, but whatever, it's fine. So up here you gotta use a fire hose that doesn't even spray fire. Doesn't even spray a stream of water, just a bunch of balls of water in a row, which is a very funny way to do it. You know, how many people worked on this game again? Let's check the credits. Ah, Jesus Christ, what the fuck, Max? Why is that the first thing you see? Why does this not scary game keep scaring me? Anyway, yeah, going through the credits, and it's like 20 or so people made this. Well, that's all from Giant Sparrow that did. Then there are like 1 million people from Santa Monica that are credited, but I don't really know what they did besides maybe publish it? I'm not sure, but yeah, this certainly is a small team, and you know it's probably low budget if instead of a 3D artist and 3D animator credits, they have Swan Animation and Swan Rig credits. Going back to those drawings, there are a lot of these for people who helped on the game though. They range from horrifying to perfectly fine to just being cool. Is that Vincent Sauce? Joshua over here is the fucking chillest guy I've ever seen. Then of course, you gotta have HBox, baby. While we're on the credits, I thought about what game engine this was made in. I was expecting Unity, given it came out in 2012 and it's a simple looking small game, which is common for that era of games.
The game stars this flashlight, some grass, a few trees, and...
Oh shit, it's a white guy!
Before you comment, I know Unity is capable of much more than this and can be used to make some amazing high-fidelity visuals. Now you can comment to boost me in the algorithm. It actually uses the Gamebryo engine, which is a name I haven't heard in a long time. I don't know anything about it other than it's like really old, and they use that to make like Oblivion and Fallout 3, which does make it seem worse than it is, but I promise it doesn't matter. There was a lot of good games made on the engine too, like Catherine and Bully Scholarship Edition. Wait, what the fuck am I doing? The fire hose launches the water way further than you can normally throw it. You can use that to lead the vines way over there to the water tower to get you across. It's a pretty fun one-off mechanic, honestly. Also, sometimes the water just randomly shoots off a little high up, like it's got a clog or something. I don't know. Once we climb up the stairs, we start part 6, the bell tower, though. So the king didn't even finish the Eldritch Monster, and it still ate his entire army, half a zoo we never got to see, and 3 peppermint gazebos. He was only able to push it into the sea with the help of his pet hippo and Stinky Pete. Then, I don't know. I covered up the rest with vines, and I didn't listen to her. My bad. So to go up, you use the vines to climb up the wall, shoot the paddles to open the hatch, then guide the vines along the ceiling so you can jump to the open hatch and climb up. I don't know why we couldn't just climb along the ceiling like we did 5 minutes ago, but whatever. Climb through the window and we're finally at the flying ship. Man, we can see everywhere we've been to. Even see the vines that we lead along the way. Though obviously, just kind of like an approximation or even just a path the developers put there for themselves. Still a cool detail nonetheless. There's only one balloon in the bell tower and I want to get it. It's probably on that crate somewhere, so I try to jump to it and my cat turned off my computer. So that's pretty awesome. Luckily, it saved my progress at the start of part 6. A W I missed! Oh cool. Feet! The balloon wasn't on the crate, by the way, but it was on this light I saw on the way back, so it all worked out. I tried to ring the bell, failed, then parkoured on some balloons and finished chapter 2.
Monroe waved goodbye to the giant and set sail. But no matter how fast he went, the swan was always just out of reach. And not for the first time that day, Monroe suspected he was being led somewhere. Then they flew into a cloud, and everything went black. Monroe sailed on in darkness following the swan's voice, but he never saw a thing. Not the stars, not the swan, and certainly not the tree he got stuck in. When the clouds lifted, the swan was gone, leaving Monroe alone in the middle of an immense forest. Since there was nothing else to be done, he jumped.
I'm gonna be honest, it's been like 2 weeks. Sorry, I was in kind of a situation I had to get out of. Okay, so we were in the city, we went on an airship, made it to the woods at night, and got stuck and jumped out. Okay, cool. Can't see shit with that statue, so I guess we head to it. Oh cool, convenient glowing fruit thing. Let's go to that and not fall down a hole. Don't worry, it might be a little dark, but at least there are also more spiders. These little glow fruits are pretty cool because they glow and then glow more when you shoot them. The main thing with this area is needing to go from one light to another between pitch black darkness. The spiders are like actually a threat here? I didn't think they would actually be enemies, but once you get to this part where they run away, they'll constantly attack you in the darkness. You can see the reds of their eyes too. Freaky. I really hated this place at first, and it constantly had me on edge, had me shooing them away and shit. It doesn't help that once you step in the darkness, this music starts playing, and it's really nerve-wracking, and I hate it. Anyway, we start pushing the cool orb, and we just follow it along now. Hey, do you know I made this orb?
Wow.
Can you do me a favor, Beef Boy? Beef Boy, can you tell her that I made that orb right there? She doesn't believe me.
He made that orb.
No, it's not that I don't believe you, it's just that I don't care.
Okay, so eventually we get to part 2, and now they do this fun thing where the orb falls into the river, so you have to chase it around, and that's not cool. You know, this is a really uncomfortable place the first time around, but I gotta admit that it looks really cool with the lighting and the stars in the water and the gator. But Tennessee!
They losers, they sore losers.
Oh, cool. So the king decided to start a family in the woods. Cool. Oh, hey, that house that he made is here. That's cool. Don't know what's up with those lines, but I can't do anything there. Oh, hey, I bought the hose toy, by the way. Guys, the king literally married his 2D waifu. Isn't that weird? His 2D waifu was literally himself but a woman. How wholesome. Okay, so I either stay here in the spider woods with the panic music, or I jump into the blueprint void world. I guess void world time. This is like kinda trippy. I know this isn't that different from what Portal did like 5 years before this, but it's interesting to see it done for 2 entirely different environments like this. Okay, so the gimmick here is you can build blocks, which is done in kind of a cool way I haven't seen before. You shoot ink on a surface, then on the same one you shoot another one and it makes a square shape. Then to choose the height or length, you just aim where you want it to end. It's a pretty unique way to do it, and I haven't seen anything quite like this before. Oh, hey, this is the same house we were in earlier, so I kind of get what we're doing here. Just, you know, make the stairs, go through the door, and there's the house in the woods, with the same staircase we just built. It's a pretty sick idea. You know, I forgot how self-centered the king is these past 2 weeks. Going upstairs and starting the nursery. Oh, okay, cool. So the dumb bitch of a queen is the reason the frog and the spiders are in the forest. Thanks, lady. Oh, she never even finished a single one, and she's 5 months pregnant. Oh, okay, I get it. I can't handle the stress here. I'm just going to jump and end it all. I don't think I have to tell you what we're doing here. Fill in the floor here, fill it in the real world. Go through the tower too, use a telescope, look up at the moon, look at the moon people, get an achievement, look it up, see it's a Journey reference, go I haven't played that, and then leave the tower. Hey, the queen literally just left the day before she gave birth. She just left him without saying anything. That's kinda fucked up. Let's just get on the boat and go. Hey, maybe don't try to climb the electrified ladder, by the way. So we follow the cable, shoot the electric lemon, and now the ocean is rising? How did he do that? How did that stop the ocean from rising? Or are we sinking? I don't know. Anyway, this is an escape sequence. Just climb up and don't fall in the water. You know, this place kind of reminds me of Oogie Boogie's lair in Kingdom Hearts 1. Just all kinds of weird and fucked up. Oh yeah, the swan! I kind of, forgot about that thing. Let's just get in this dude's nose and, oh, a real cutscene.
As Monroe stood there trying to think of something to say, the statue shuddered and the hatch slammed shut. And now there was no more need for talking. The king was awake.
Excuse me, what the actual fuck are you doing in my house?
Ah, it's you, the boy from my dream. What a strange dream it was. My life's work was being destroyed, and all I could do was watch.
Come, sit here by the fire.
The hippo talks!
It all began right there, in the house I grew up in. I heard
Okay, so this is chapter 4 now, by the way. This looks really cool. Like, really cool.
Just like on the night I left. I opened the door, but there was nothing there. Just white space.
Wait, no. No, not like this. This is the start of the game.
But when I got outside, disaster. Some miscreant had painted everything. My garden was ruined. And then my statue spoke and said, "Help me! Some little hooligan is
okay,
running
it's an
around
abridged
splattering everything in the
version.
garden. I think he's headed for the...
He got inked!
Something got in my mouth. Oh dear.
He's dead! It's a really cool little sequence. Looking through everything the king made from his perspective of us, and the credits, I guess. Interesting fourth wall break there.
Oh yes, and subtitles.
This entire chapter is kind of a mishmash of everywhere we've been through at this point, and it's pretty cool to get a quick progression through it all. Jesus, come on, man! Why do they keep doing this? I hate the swan!
Instead, it'll be buried in one, a monument for weeds. The dining hall was full of people, like the old days. It smelled like roasted.
You can look in the mirror and you get to see this dapper young fellow.
I was happy.
And then you get jump scared again! Come on, man!
I was alone again. The world had become...
Oh, cool, we get to drown again.
Dark. I felt my own death rising up around me.
You gotta make boxes again, and now you can pick them up and use it as a raft.
I floated past chunks of the house I built, or started building. Scarcely 10 years later, and the whole thing was in ruins. My works were meant to last forever, but most of them will be gone before I am. I was at a funeral. My own, as it turned out. No one was there, except you.
Didn't scare me this time, buddy.
I saw my monument, my last hope of leaving something that would live on after me, and I began to walk towards it. And with each step I took, I got larger. I just kept growing and growing, like a teenager. With a gentle push, my monument crumbled and sank. I saw my life's work laid out in front of me. Soon it would crumble into dust or be painted over by someone who would come after me, the same way I painted over what was here before me. When the universe ended, I knew that everything I'd made was over. And as I sat there, looking out into the darkness, I thought back on all the things I'd built and left unfinished. I realized something. I wasn't sad that it was all gone. I had fun making all that stuff. I would have done it anyway. And then, somehow I knew that when I woke up, all my work really would be destroyed. And that's when you showed up. I don't know how you got here, but I'm glad to see you. I have something...
I guess this is the part where I try to find the meaning of the story. If I had to guess, it's along the lines of understanding that what you make probably won't last forever or even very long. But the joy of creating isn't how long it lasts, but the joy of making it and how it can affect people in the moment. Maybe don't stress too much over the specifics like the perfect color for so long you don't finish it. Don't stress too much about unintended things changing how it ends up to the point of you ruin the entire thing. Don't neglect your wife, who is actually the female version of you that came to life after you drew her? Actually, it's probably more like you can't force other people to care about your art. Something along those lines, at least. Oh, it's probably also fuck Tennessee.
Because they're not Alabama, and I hate Tennessee, man.
Pretty funny little game. Walking sim, horror game, whatever you want to call it. Pretty cute little thing. Anyway, see ya. Oh, bonus round! We're going to talk about some of the extra stuff in the game, because there's actually some stuff here now. You got some new toys. The balloon radar will help you find the balloons you missed. Pretty cool, pretty useful. There's concept art, which is actually pretty cool to look at. I always love looking at concept art for games, because some of them start out so different. Once you what the fuck was I saying? Once you beat the game, you can pick up blocks anywhere. One of them lets you pick up blocks anywhere, but like you can't make them anywhere. So just wherever you can make them before. So it's kind of just a thing to mess with for a second. Man, these toys fucking suck, huh? Okay, hold on. Once you get all the balloons, you can get a sniper rifle. Oh yeah. Interested now? It lets you shoot paint in a straight line, and it's really loud. And not very useful because there's nothing to use it for now. You already got all the balloons, so you can use it with the hose though, and go deaf. Oh, I guess you can use it for these 2 achievements for launching blocks like 50 feet in the air or whatever. So you just drop it above you, and right before it hits your head, you shoot. So like that. There. Okay, now there. Anyway, what else we got? I think the last thing is actually a prototype level in the game. It's super basic, and there's no music or even sound effects, and it has this writing on the wall, and you go through the Shadow City, and it's like really unsettling in an unfinished way, and ends with you going through a big star. You know, that's a really nice bonus to end on. Sex, we're not ending on that. What we're really ending on is this insane achievement they have. So you know how at the first level in the game, you're completely blind until you use ink? Okay, so imagine beating the whole level without using ink. That's Minimalist. Reach the Watchtower without throwing more than 3 balls. So you aren't completely blind with the footprints and the gold crown being visible, but besides that, you can't see shit. You gotta do this entirely through audio cues and counting your footsteps. I had to look up a guide for this because I am not doing that on my own. So to finally end this video off, I present to you, dear viewer, a full Minimalist achievement run. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to me, that man. Do the things that boost my algorithm. And thanks for the view, and comment, and subscribe, and like, and give me $10, give me $12. Food's getting expensive. I want a large Big Mac meal. Give me $12, please. All right, bye.